This is a song about betrayal that I wrote in 2008. Who drew first blood? Who started a war? Who wanted a fight? Now who can't fight no more? There's 14 hours left for us to do what we both need. 14 hours left to say goodbye. I'm still the same guy that I was before. It's you who is acting strange. I forgive everything, then you do something more to keep everything estranged. Who broke the trust and is part of the deal? Who betrayed his own blood and destroyed a love that was stronger than steel? You, my friend, who traded us for something that was a lie. There's 14 hours left to say goodbye. Everyone says I shouldn't try anymore. My efforts have been ignored. You won't get another chance just to slam the door. My anger would be restored. Jealousy, bitterness, anger, hate. I never realized you secretly harbored them all. The whole damn thing is one-way traffic. It's like I'm the only one ever cared for all the love and brotherhood we shared. It's like you became a different person and made what was seem like a lie. 27 years of our lives. I've told you once before and I'll tell you again. It ain't about who you are with. It's just about the way you've both changed since then and done things I can't forgive. I stand for truth. I value important bonds. You talk so much bullshit to convince yourself you've never done no wrong. I hate to be the one to tell you you need to stop living a lie. I'll pity your deluded soul until I die. Say goodbye. Say goodbye. Say goodbye. So yeah, that's a song about betrayal that I wrote 2008, and I wrote that, right, what had actually happened at the time is I would have put my brother's house, yeah. I used to go to my brother's flat, and at that time he was quite depressed. He just left his job because he was in love with this girl that worked there, but she had a boyfriend, and she told him that, you know, nothing was ever going to happen, and he was really upset about it. And I was up at ease. I'd started like seeing this neighbour, but she had a boyfriend. It was all a bit messy. So I was seeing people in them days. I was a young lad, you know what I mean? And anyway, long story short, I was up at ease. Friday night having a drink. And this girl that I used to see I split up with her a while before, about 3 or 4 months before. She was like drunk dialing me, trying to get me to go to hers, right? And I was like, no, I'm not brothers, you know what I mean? It's a bit late, you know. We'd split up and I wasn't interested. I said, look, I'm not my brothers, having a drink. And then my brother were like, after I put the phone down on it, they said, oh, tell her come up here, mate, tell her come up here. And I'm like, really? And I did. I put him on phone away, you know what I mean? Put him on phone, let him talk and that. And she came up, brought some beers, yeah, she came up and we all had a drink. She was there for the bit. My brother went into all this pickup bullshit at the time. Like, you know, dating site stuff. Not dating site stuff. Pickup artists who like watching stuff like Mystery, Tyler, doing all this bullshit, running game, which is all complicated. I never did all like that, you know what I mean? But he went into all this garbage and he was trying to do that with this lass, you know, because he knew I wasn't particularly interested in him, but I was still thinking I don't particularly want him to go over. But he was doing all this pickup bullshit, you know, calling her little sis and all this stuff, which he told me about and showed me DVDs and all this garbage. He was doing all that on her. And I thought, fair enough. He was doing it for about 3 or 4 hours. We were all having a good time. But then he went to the toilet and then she says, right, we're leaving now then. Fucking been here long enough. She wanted me to go and go back to hers, you know. I'm thinking, well, you know, he's depressed. I don't want to just leave him, you know. And she wanted me to fuck off and leave. And that would have been it. If I'd have done that, probably never would have got together. But the gist of what I'm getting with this, right? I didn't leave. And I just left them to chatting her up and blah blah blah. And when I went to the shop, because instead of drinking all night, I went to the shop and about 7 in the morning to get some more beers, right? And I went and I left them two in the flat. And I joked, I said, "Oh, do what you want, mate. Yeah, do this, do that. You know, don't worry about me." And then I got back from the shop and the freaking door was locked. So I thought, shit, he took this joke seriously, innit? And then he opened the door, and I went in. Then the lass that kept trying to get me to leave, that wasn't the only time, she kept trying to get me to leave all night long, right? She was there stood next to him in the corner of the room, and he was like showing her, pretending he was showing her pictures, yeah. He was like showing her pictures of his kid. Yeah, I believe. He had a kid, Alan, or something. And I think that's what he was doing. He was like showing her pictures of stuff, and then she was leaving, right? So then I walked to the taxi and I thought, well, I've been here all night now. In fact, it was probably about 11 o'clock, getting towards dinner time. I walked to the taxi and I said, right, shall I come up to yours in a bit then? You know, and she said, oh, no, it's all right, you just stay with your brother. I said, oh, okay then, cool. And I came back in, and then my brother's phone was going left, right, and centre. What the fuck? He didn't normally get anyone ringing him. I texted him. And then he confessed. He said, oh, yeah, you know, when you came back and we were stood in corner, I was giving him a number. Oh, alright, okay, cool. That was a bit slow, wasn't it? And then he said, oh, do you mind, you know, you don't mind, you know, you're seeing that last night and blah, 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 you don't mind if I meet her? And at that point, I was cool with it, you know, because I thought my brother's depressed. He hasn't been laid for ages, you know, he wasn't particularly good at getting women. You know, he was uglier than me, no disrespect to him. So I thought, fair enough, cool, yeah, go for it. And they arranged to meet at Commercial Pub in Marley, right? And he set off to go meet her at Commercial Pub in Marley. Frigging phone died. His phone died, you know, because it was the old days with 2008, you know, he had a shit phone. And then he's there at Commercial Pub waiting there for ages. And he came back pissed off. She never turned up. Yeah. And it turned out he'd gone to the wrong frigging commercial pub. There's two commercial pubs in Marley, right? So he'd gone to the wrong one. But anyway, I put a stop to it and I said, look, I don't want you to meet, to be honest. You know, 'cause I thought about it while he'd gone and set off to meet her. I thought, you know, no, I don't really like it. You know, exes don't go with, you know, my brother shouldn't be going with an ex of mine. It's a bit dodgy, innit? But if it were just once, it'd be fair enough. But it just felt a bit dodgy. And I said, you know, you wouldn't like it if I went with your ex, would you? And he was like, no, no, definitely not. And he said he ain't going to do it, you know. So they agreed not to do it. And then I left later that night. I went back home and then I rang her and I had a go at her and she was saying sorry, she won't do it. They're not going to meet. And then there was a family get together right the next day at my grandparents' house. Me, my mum, my brother, my mother's boyfriend, my granddad. We were all of us were meeting at my grandmother's for a meal. And he never turned up. And I knew why, because he met her. Yeah, basically. And he's been with her ever since. They've been a couple ever since. And yeah, he's not literally spent one day away from her since they met. So it's obviously real love, you know. But at that point, it was all a bit fake, and she was doing it to try and wind me up, and she was sending me pictures of them two together. So it was just a real bad betrayal from my brother's behalf, and her. So it was really disrespectful. I didn't beat him up, you know what I mean? I've beat him up before. He's not a tough guy, my brother, neither am I, but I can handle him quite easily. But I was more disappointed than angry, you know what I mean? It was more, I felt really betrayed and hurt, you know. I felt hurt by it, and we had a few rows and blah, 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 but didn't really get physical. I think I kicked him, pushed him, and he fell over and that, but didn't really get too physical. And what really happened? Let me think. We never really picked a friendship up. I tried to keep the friendship going with my brother, but she was always there. And I went up there and I was having a drink. I'd started seeing a lass myself called Vanessa, who I ended up seeing for like 2 years. And we're all up there having a drink. And I remember one time Vanessa wasn't there yet. I remember me and her went to the shop to get some drinks and we were walking back. I'd looked at them two together, my brother and her, and I saw how happy they were together, laughing and joking and that. And I thought, this is quite nice. I had a moment where I was quite nice and thinking, you know what, all this bitterness, forget it. Them two are happy, it's cool. Me and her were never going to be like that. I was never blown away with her like he was. And I thought they've got something nice, that's cool. And I'm looking, smiling, thinking, they've got my blessing now, you know what I mean? It's all nice. I've had a bit of anger, I've let it all out, called them names, job done. Now let them be happy together. Me and her walked to the shop together. And then we were walking back, and I was like, I'm happy for you, congratulations. I went to give her a hug, right? Went to give her a hug. And then she fucking kicked off and fucking moved away like really quick, like I'm fucking trying to fucking, freaking sexually assault her or something. But for me, that was the way of just giving her my blessing and just hugging her. Even if I did fucking kiss her on the cheek or whatever, we're not like fucking trying to get with her. I was giving her my blessing to say, look, I'm congratulating you. It's cool. I want to remotely trying it on with her. I went into Vanessa. I liked Vanessa a lot. I ended up being with her for 2 years properly, which I was never going to be with her. That's the last that got my brother. But I gave her a hug, and then she went storming into my brother's. Oh, he just fucking tried it on me, and fucking me and him kicked off. That's when I pushed him. He came for me. I pushed him over, he fell over, and then she was asking. They were both trying to push me out. I just walked out. You know what I mean? And yeah, we've never really been friends since. Properly after I've tried. It seemed to get all right on occasions. They used to come to my grandmother's Christmases, and I was there, and we'd be all right. But then it's all just got weird again, and I hadn't seen him for years. It's all a bad betrayal. That's what it is, and that's what that song. I wrote that in 2008 because it was just disappointment. I've had a lot of disappointment in life, and that's a really bad one, I guess, because he promised me, looked me in the eye, swore before I left his flat. Yeah, before them two got together and met, he swore that he wasn't going to meet her. Looked me in the eye. I won't do it because we had a big discussion. I said, look, it'd be like me going with Lisa, who was his ex. You won't like it, and he agreed. So that was that. And then I rang her, and she did the same thing. And then they ended up meeting. So it was a big betrayal. But like I said, and I got my head around it and thought it's cool, but I don't know, I've always been weird. My brother's a bit different, he's a bit shy, or I don't know what he is, he's got anxiety, but he's not like a great guy either. Obviously, he's immoral. He's got no loyalty to me. So, yeah, I got betrayed. There you go, and that's what the song's about. Say goodbye. I wrote it when it was still fresh. Imagining that, time's up and I've been let down because I'd have never betrayed my brother like that. In fact, all the time when I used to go around to his exes, because I used to live near theirs and I was going around and stuff, and I could have done stuff with her and I never did. You could have thought, well, no big deal, but I never did. And look what he did. So he had no loyalty to me. So it is what it is, isn't it? The bros before hoes thing certainly don't come when it comes to him. So there you go, mate. That's the story behind that song.